Good morning. Today we are going to discuss about first law of thermodynamics. So in this unit, until now we have completed about Joule's experiment, and also we have studied about corollaries of first law of thermodynamics. So in today's class, we are going to discuss about first law for a closed system undergoing a change of state, and energy, a property of the system, and what are the different forms of energy that is stored. So coming to the first law of thermodynamics for a closed system undergoing a change of state. So if we consider this system, so this is the system, and outside the system we will call it as surroundings. So if we consider the system in which there is both heat transfer into the system and also work transfer from the system, okay, that means there is both heat transfer and work transfer in the system. So if there is both the energy transfers, definitely there will be a change of state. Okay. So if a system undergoes a change of state during which both the heat transfer and work transfer takes place, so the difference between the heat transfer and work transfer will be stored within the system. Okay. That means if Q is the amount of heat that is transferred into the system and W is the amount of heat that is transferred, work that is done by the system, then the net means Q minus W is the energy that is stored inside the system. Okay. So that means we are saying that energy is conserved. So first law of thermodynamics is based on principle of conservation of energy. That means energy can neither be created nor be destroyed. It is converted from one form to another form. So we are calling this as a property of a system. Okay. So if you take the system where there is heat transfer and work transfer, the difference between Q minus W is stored within a system, and we represent with delta E. So delta E represents the increase in energy of the system. That means, so initially the system is at a certain energy. By storing this energy, by storing the energy, that is the difference between Q minus W, the system will raises its energy. That means delta E is the increase in energy of the system. Or from this equation, we can write Q is equal to delta E plus W. So this is only when we consider only one heat transfer and work transfer. If you consider a system where there are more energy transfers, that is more number of heat transfers and more number of work transfers, then according to the first law of thermodynamics for a process, the heat transfer into the system is generally taken as positive, and the heat transfer from the system is taken as negative. So that is the sign convention of heat. Okay. So Q1 is the heat transfer that is coming out of the system. So Q1 we have to write negative. Okay. And Q2 and Q3 are the heat transfers into the system. So the heat transfer into the system are taken as positive quantities. So Q is equal to delta E represents the energy that is stored inside the system, and W is work done by the system is taken as positive. Work done by the system means outward arrow mark. So these two should be positive. So W2 and W3 are positive quantities, whereas work transfer into the system is taken as negative. That means W1 and W4 are taken as negative quantities. So this, if the system consists of more energy transfers, we can write this equation like this. Okay. So this is about first law for a system undergoing a change of state. That means if a system undergoes a change of state, here the system undergoes from state 1 to state 2 by both the heat transfer and work transfer. So if that occurs, we have to write the first law of thermodynamics like this. That means for a process, the first law of thermodynamics is Q minus W is equal to delta E, or delta E is Q is equal to delta E plus W. So the energy here stored may be of in different terms, maybe in terms of the energy stored inside the system may be in the form of kinetic energy, potential energy, or anything, electrical energy, anything it may be stored. Okay. So we will study about this delta E later on. Meanwhile, delta E is the energy that is stored in the system itself. Okay, next coming to energy. So we are looking about this energy. So this energy, whether it is a property of the system or not. So we'll prove that by using this derivation. So according to the first law of thermodynamics, we know that, so if you draw a PV graph here, so PV graph here means, so if you take 1 to 2, this is state 1 and this is state 2. Okay, so state 1, the system can change from state 1 to state 2 by following different paths here. So A is one process, and B is another process, and C is another process. Okay, so delta Q is, that means a system is reached from state 1 to state 2 by following the path A, and the system again reaches from state 2 to state 1 by following the path B as well as path C. Okay, so according to first law of thermodynamics for a process, so if you apply for this path A, for this process A, so QA is equal to delta EA plus W. From this for this process A, delta EA is equal to QA minus. So if I bring WA to this side, delta EA is equal to QA minus WA. So let it be equation 1. So if you similarly write this first law of thermodynamics for a process to the path B. So if you consider the path B here, so QB is equal to delta EB plus WB. So from this, delta EB is equal to QB minus WB. Okay. So here these one to 2 process following the path A and again following back the path B. So these two process comprises a cycle. Okay. So for a cycle, so for a process A to B, when combined together, will forms a cycle. So for a cycle, the first law of thermodynamics is summation of W for a cycle is equal to summation of Q for a cycle. So if we add all the work transfers here, WA, that means summation of work for a cycle means here only A to 1 to 2 with following the path A and 2 to B, 2 to 1 following the path B comprises one cycle. So if we consider this cycle alone, so if you apply the first law of thermodynamics for this cycle, summation of W should be equal to the summation of Q. So summation of W means, so for work transfer for both the process A and B. So WA plus WB. And summation of Q is heat transfer for both the process QA plus QB. So if you write in terms of, if you take all the process A to one side and process B to other side, so QA minus WA is equal to WB minus QB. So we have already known here. So we have already known here the QA minus WA can be replaced with delta EA. Again, WB minus QB can be replaced with, so we have to multiply with minus here. So WB minus QB can be replaced with delta EB. So that means if we substitute first law of thermodynamics in the first law of thermodynamics for a cycle equation, we will get delta EA is equal to minus delta EB. So if you consider only these two processes. Now if we consider the path C, that means if we consider 1 to 2, the system will change from state 1 to state 2 by following the path A and back to state 1 by following the path C. So if we consider this big cycle here, so if if we repeat the process again, we will get delta A is equal to minus delta EC. Okay. So from these two equations, we will get delta EB is equal to delta EC. Okay. So that means by observing this, we can say that the energy between two states, delta E represents energy. So the energy difference, delta E means energy difference between the two states, okay, is same whether it follow the path A or it follow the path B. Okay, that means it is independent of the path that is followed. Energy is independent of the path that is followed, because A is equal to B means A never be equal to B. Okay, so A is one process and B is another process. Okay, A can never equal to B, but here we got A is equal to delta EA is equal to delta EB. That means this energy, change in energy will not depend on the path followed. It only depends on the end states. So if a quantity or anything that is depends on the end states means we will treat that as a property of the system. So therefore, energy will have some value or some numerical value can define, which defines every state of the system. And so we will call energy as a point function and also the property of the system. And coming to different forms of energy stored. So we are talking about energy delta E. So what energies we have to consider means, So there are different forms of energy that are stored. First one is energy is the capacity. So first we have to know what is energy. Energy means it is the capacity to do work. Okay. So in thermodynamics means energy that is stored within the system itself. So energy that is stored can be of two types. So first one is energy in transit and second one is energy in storage. Okay. So energy in transit means, so the energy that transfers across the system boundary. So if you take here, the energy that transfers across the system and the boundary is called as energy in transit. So work and heat are both the energy in transit. Okay. So work and heat interactions are the forms of energy in transit observed at the boundary. So if the energy that is transferred across the boundaries, we will call it as energy in transit. So generally speaking, they are not the properties of the system, because a verb, we have already proved that both the heat transfer and work transfer are the path function, and it depends upon the path that is followed during the process. Okay. So they are called as the energy in transit. So coming to energy in storage. So energy storage means, here we have studied the energy that is stored, Q minus W. So the net heat transfer is stored within the system. So the energy that is stored in the system is another form of energy, which we will call the energy maybe in the form of, which is stored in the system is called as internal energy. So it is a point or state function. So it is a property of the system. So we have studied about two forms of energy. First one is energy in transit, which is a path function. Path function means here energy should transfer across the boundaries. That means likewise work and heat. Work and heat are the forms of energy that is observed at the boundaries only. So they were both work and heat transfers are path functions, and they depend only on the path that is followed and does not depend on the end states. Okay. Whereas coming to the second type, energy in storage, the energy that is stored within the system itself is called as energy in storage. So that is delta E. So delta E, we proved already that it does not depends on the path followed, it only depends on the end states. So these are both types of energies. Okay. So coming to E, so we will use the symbol E to represent the total energy of the system. Okay. So we already know that there are two types of energy, modes of energy, modes in which the energy can be stored in a system. First one is macroscopic energy mode and second one is microscopic energy mode. So the energy can be stored in a system in the form of macroscopic energy mode or microscopic energy mode. So coming to macroscopic energy mode, so here the energy can be stored inside the system itself in the form of kinetic energy or in the form of potential energy. So for example, if you consider this a fluid of mass m, so this fluid of mass m is at a height of h. So it is distance of z from the bottom or the datum line. Okay. So from a fixed line, it is at a distance of at a height of z, and it is moving with a velocity v. Okay. So since the particle of fluid of mass m is at a height h, it has some potential energy, and since it is moving, it has some velocity v. That means macroscopically viewing. That means we can see with our naked eye, that is it is at a certain height and it can move with a velocity v. So it possesses both the kinetic energy and potential energy. So these energies we can view with our eye, which we will call it as macroscopic energy mode. So coming to kinetic energy, so kinetic energy means, so if m is the mass of the fluid and v is the velocity of the fluid element that is moving, then kinetic energy can be written as Ek is equal to half mv square. Okay. So this is the formula for kinetic energy. And potential energy is, since the particle is at a height z from the datum line, so the potential energy can be written as mg into h, where g is acceleration due to gravity and m is the mass of the fluid particle. So these two energies we can view, so they are called as macroscopic energy modes. Coming to the microscopic, so microscopic means, so we have to consider this molecules inside the fluid. So this is completely the fluid of mass m. So if you consider the small molecules inside this fluid, so these molecules can have different movements. They can translate, they can move from one place to another place, they can rotate, okay, or they can do any energy form. So they can translate, they can rotate, they can vibrate, they can be a chemical composition, there can be electrical current in between them, or they can be nuclear collision between them. So all these are the energies within the molecules of the fluid. Okay, so that energy we will call it as microscopic energy mode. Okay, so that means this is the energy which refers to the within the molecules of the fluid. Okay, so matter is composed of molecules, and the molecules are in random thermal motion with some average velocity v colliding with each other. Okay, so due to this collision they can have these forms of energy, a translational energy, rotational energy. So if the total energy we represent it with E here, so the total energy of the molecules can be the sum of translation energy plus rotational energy plus vibrational energy plus chemical energy plus electrical energy plus nuclear energy plus and so on. If there are any other forms, you can add those also. So coming to here, if there are n molecules, so if there is only one molecule, we are writing this term. So if you consider n molecules, we have to multiply that energy with n. So this completely n into energy gives the internal energy of the system, because these fluids are internally located inside the fluid mass. We are treating it as internal energy. Okay, internal energy for n molecules is n is equal to U is equal to n into epsilon. So since in an ideal gas, if you consider an ideal gas, there will be no intermediate forces of attraction or repulsion, and the internal energy U here only depends upon temperature only. So if increase the temperature only, we will observe the change in energy. So internal energy can be a function of temperature only in case of ideal gas. Okay, that means the total energy, if you represent it with capital E here, the total energy is a sum of macroscopic energy plus microscopic energy. So macroscopic energy means, as we have already seen, it is the sum of kinetic energy and potential energy. And microscopic energy is the internal energy. So if the fluid is at rest, for example, it is not moving with a velocity v, or it is not at a height h. So it is a stationary fluid particle on the datum line itself. So then in that case, kinetic energy is 0, potential energy is 0. So in this equation, if you replace kinetic energy and potential energy as zeros, so E is equal to U. Okay, so in first law of thermodynamics, Q is equal to delta E plus W. Here Q means heat transfer, W means work transfer, and delta E is the change in energy. So this change in energy is equal to U. That means if kinetic energy and potential energies are neglected, then E can be replaced with U. So if E is replaced with U, then first law of thermodynamics is reduces to Q is equal to delta U plus W. So this is the equation for first law of thermodynamics when kinetic energy and potential energy are neglected. So if all energies are considered, you have to write Q is equal to delta E plus W. Here U is called as internal energy of the system, and the units of U is kilojoules. Since it is an energy, the units of U is kilojoules. Okay, so and specific internal energy is internal energy per unit mass. So if we divide this energy by mass, we will get specific internal energy. So this is an intensive property, where U is an extensive property. Okay, from these two equations, if you write dq, if you differentiate dq, it will become dE plus dW. So if you differentiate this equation, dq is equal to du plus dW. Okay, so we know that dW as, again we know dW means work transfer. Work transfer may be of different types. We have already studied different forms of work transfer. PDV work, shaft work, electrical work, flow work, paddle work. So different forms of work we have already studied. So if we add all the work transfers, we will get dW. Okay, in this dE means all the energies, kinetic energy, potential energy, internal energy, all the energies come under dE. du means only the internal energy that too the energy that is stored in the molecules, and K is the heat transfer. So the heat transfer, so if we consider only the PDV work is present and no other work is there, then we can replace dW with PDV work. Okay, so if we replace dW with PDV, then these two equations reduces to dQ is equal to dE plus PDV and dQ is equal to du plus PDV. So this is only for an element. So if we want to consider all the system completely, so if you consider all the systems, we have to integrate all. So integrating means Q is equal to E plus integral PDV. Q is equal to delta U plus integral PDV. So this is the equation for first law of thermodynamics for the whole system. Okay. So in today's class, we have learned the first law of thermodynamics for a process. So this is the first law of thermodynamics for a process, which is the basic of all the equations in complete thermodynamics subject. Okay. So this equation we have to remember, or we have to understood clearly. Q is equal to delta U plus W, where delta U is the internal energy, or the energy that is stored inside the molecules. So W means total work transfer. Total work means it may be of shaft work, PDV work, electrical work, or anything. If we consider only PDV work, we have to replace W with PDV. Okay, and Q is the energy, just heat transfer. So until now we have not derived any formula for Q. So we have only derived the formula for delta U and W for different PDV works. Okay, so the formula for Q will be derived in second law of thermodynamics. Until that, we will only calculate W and delta U, and we will substitute here for calculating the amount of heat transfer. Okay. Okay. Thank you.